everyone, Matt here from Doc's Running, and today we're going to do a full review of the Adidas Ultraboost 5X. So this is the newest version of the Ultraboost series, which is really meant to continue to be working toward making the Ultraboost a performance trainer, and I think for once is actually getting to that point. Previous Ultraboosts have definitely tried to move in that realm, and this is a series that's really been known kind of more as a casual line, and previously before the last few versions, I would really suggest people don't run in this shoe. This is really meant for like walking around town, a really more cushioned shoe for just like standing. But the recent versions were working that direction. The last version, the Ultraboost Light, I felt like was a really good step forward, but still wasn't light despite the name. But it actually was a better, smoother transitioning shoe that I actually also found to be very stable neutral, and I was really, really happy with that. The newest version definitely moves into the performance trainer realm for a couple different reasons. A, weight. B, much more responsive midsole, although not soft, which we'll talk about in a second, and getting into that much more performance upper with the really nice prime knit upper that is actually executed very well in the 5X version. There's a 5 version that has a little bit more of that cage, a little more structure to the upper. This one does a good job of hugging while still having a little bit of stretch to it. So let's talk about, if you're even interested in the shoe, what this thing about and who it might work best for. And we're going to start with specs first. So men's size 9 is coming in at 9.7 ounces. Women's size 8 is coming in at about 8.6 ounces to 9 ounces. There's a little variation there in what our specs were given. Stack height is 31 millimeters in the heel, 21 in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter drop, although it feels much higher than that. Big features are a prime knit upper with that really wonderful external heel clip in the rear foot here that does a great job of creating structure without pissing off my heel that it always does. But we're going to start with the ride first. Full length Ultraboost, full lace light boost, and I think it's actually light boost 2.0. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, because it feels very different than the prior versions. It is very responsive and very resilient foam underfoot. It is not soft. I was actually really surprised because they took out the full length torsion system, and now it's just in the midfoot. The foam doesn't feel very soft, but even when you're walking, it's like, oh, this is kind of just a little bit firmer. When you start running and pick up the pace, there is a lot of bounce to this. And again, not soft. There it's fairly stiff midfoot because the torsion system is only there right now. Heel's a little clunky, which we'll talk about, but a really nice transitioning forefoot that really starts to respond the more you pick up the pace. Again, not a race shoe, but the feel of the midsole makes it feel like a performance trainer. I've actually done a couple workouts in this shoe. I've done a light tempo and I've done a fartlek, and it's actually done really, really well. The only issue that I've had with this is the heel is a little bit clunky, and the reason for that is there's this wonderful bevel that Adidas always has, but they've got the sole quite a bit back, so a good amount of posterior flare, and you can see there's a lot of lateral flare. So when I first tried this on, the heel was really clunky. Went into a fairly normal midfoot that I actually got pitched much more medial over because of that lateral piece of the heel, and then a really nice smooth forefoot. So this is a very neutral shoe. If you need some guidance in the heel, the clip works really well. Midfoot, it's not unstable, but I really felt like the lateral flare here pitched me medially, and it took me a little bit to figure this out. So heel, guidance, great. Midfoot, not so much, but so kind of going to be better for more neutral runners, unlike the previous version, which was really stable neutral. But the heel is just a little bit clunky. Once you learn to transition a little faster through that, it works really well. So those of you that land very much heel heavy, high, what's called inclination angle, this is going to feel a little bit clunky. Those who land a little bit more kind of forward, midfoot, forefoot, it's going to be a much smoother ride. And again, it's very responsive, which makes it good for easy runs and up-tempo runs. Not as comfortable for longer runs or like recovery runs, just because it's a more responsive foam and a less comfortable foam. It's not uncomfortable. It's just not great for very, very slow paces. So you want to pick up the pace and you want a training shoe that looks good, this might actually be a really, really good option. So uppers, where things also are really different from previous versions, it really felt very built up, and Isabella's giving her own opinion on this too. It is extremely comfortable. One of the best uppers I felt. Normal width fit, but there's quite a bit of stretch both superiorly as well as to the side. So if you need a little bit more room, but you don't have extremely wide feet, I think this might be a really good option. The tongue is one piece, so it's not going to go anywhere. Haven't had any issues. The security is actually really good for being a knit upper. Again, turning is not going to be the most stable for a lot of things. And again, the heel is awesome. If you have Haglund deformity or you have irritations back here, this does awesome while still securing your heel. So a really nice upper, light upper, knit for sure, with some stretch to it if you need a little room. Just don't expect this to be the most stable in terms of turning, but front to back, it is absolutely fine. So I think for the first time ever, Adidas has created a performance training version of the Ultraboost. I would suggest if you want to pick up the pace a little bit, if you want easy runs and up-tempo runs, but you want a good-looking trainer on the side, this might be a good option for you. It is a little bit on the expensive side, but I've got 40 miles on this, and the durability has actually been really, really good. So you might be getting something with the combination of, hey, it's going to last for a while. It might also be a good option for you if you just want to get some faster miles in. However, I will say for the price, one of the things that I am a little concerned about Adidas is that you do have an entire Adizero line. So if you like the Ultraboost and you've got more of that casual kind of fit, look at this shoe. If you really, really want high performance and much lighter, I'm going to really suggest you go for the Adizero line. But in the meantime, I'm really impressed with what is being done with the Ultraboost. It is moving forward. Still has a little weight that it could drop, but for now, this is a really great update. And if you are interested in this, it is something you might want to consider, especially if you land a little bit further forwards.